In today's video, I'm sharing 3 surprisingly simple, kid-approved Easter recipes that are also GAPS friendly. I wanted to make Easter memorable and special for my kiddos, so I made homemade marshmallows, a creamy lemon curd, and the last recipe you'll see was a bit of a freestyle. I have 2 different options for you. Here's my boys' initial reaction on Easter morning. What do you think?
A crop. That's too good to eat.
Let's dive right into the marshmallow recipe. Now this only requires 3 ingredients, which is amazing when you compare it with store-bought marshmallows. Let's briefly just go ahead and do that, compare it with store-bought marshmallows, because I think it's very motivating to make your own when you find out how simple it is and how much cleaner ingredients we have. Look at all this stuff: corn syrup, modified cornstarch, artificial flavors, blue one. I can't even pronounce some of those things. This is not a health food, yet when we make it at home, it turns it into a health food. So I'm taking this marshmallow recipe from Becky Plotner's book, GAPS Stage by Stage. And beef gelatin probably isn't an ingredient you have in your cabinet. There's lots of good options on Amazon. So I scooped out the beef gelatin and I set that aside because I actually want my honey and water heating up first, because it does take a while. So I'm going to get this going on the stove before I whisk together my gelatin and water. So first step, let's get that heating up. The 1/4 cup of water and 1/2 cup of honey. Set that on the stove and have your thermometer nearby so you can be checking it. Next, we're going to be whisking the water and gelatin together, just because we do not want clumps of gelatin when we pour the hot honey into this water and gelatin mixture. So here I'm slowly adding the gelatin into the water as I'm whisking, just to make sure I don't get any big chunks of gelatin. If you do end up getting some clumps of gelatin, just use a spoon and kind of smush it out as best you can, because it's going to make your marshmallows not as smooth if you leave those chunks in there. I think until just a few years ago, I had no idea you could even make homemade marshmallows. I had never thought about what kind of ingredients you would need to make a marshmallow. But I found out from this recipe in this cookbook that I have, GAPS Stage by Stage, with recipes. It's so easy. It only requires 3 ingredients, so it's a simple, super fast treat that you can make for your kids for special occasions. So I've been keeping an eye on my honey and water and just stirring it occasionally, making sure it's not sticking to the bottom of this pot. You will notice as you make this, it's gonna hover around 220 degrees for a while. So while it's doing that, it's not quite to 240, I just prepared my pan with parchment and I have my gelatin water ready to go. I'm just still waiting for this honey to get up to 240 degrees. As you can see, I'm hovering around 220. Oh, almost there. We made it. This is the part that if you have a stand mixer, it is pretty nice, because we are going to be mixing this for 10 minutes. And this was a labor of love. I do not have a stand mixer, so I just held this little hand mixer for 10 minutes, but it wasn't too bad, honestly. It was very satisfying to see it continue to thicken and thicken as I mixed. Okay, I gotta admit, I took a little taste here. Looks so good. But you do want to quickly get this in the pan and spread out and chilling, because if you wait too long, it'll start to firm up. And then I do like to sprinkle some shredded coconut. I think it makes it taste so much more amazing. It's already really good, but cannot recommend the coconut enough. So once it's chilled and firm, you can go ahead and cut it. If I had thought about it earlier, I would have cut it into a cross shape in this step, but I just cut it in squares and then realized, oh, maybe I'll just make a cross shape out of the squares that I've already cut. So see this peeling away. Look at how squishy, yummy, satisfying. You're gonna be so pleased with the result. So our next treat was a lemon curd, and this is a really simple ingredient list: egg yolks, lemon, butter, and honey. This recipe was inspired from the Heal Your Gut cookbook. And I am not the best, clearly, at removing egg yolks. I'm just making a big mess over here. And I don't like measuring honey into measuring cups, so I just guesstimate, pour it directly in there. And same thing with the lemon. Any lemon recipe, I love lemon so much and tend to add more lemon than whatever the recipe calls for. So here I am trying to measure it out, and then I just keep adding more. So I'm deviating from a lot of methods here. I'm going ahead and adding the butter right away without heating anything up yet. I don't have a double boiler or anything. All I'm just going to do is take a normal pot, add in all the ingredients, and whisk it over low to medium heat. And it was super easy. I think all the other times I've never made lemon curd, I was intimidated because I had to have a double boiler, which I don't, and I had to add the butter at a certain time. Nope, it works perfectly. I just added it all at once and kept whisking it over low to medium heat until it started to thicken and got to the texture and thickness that I wanted. So don't be intimidated by this recipe. You can absolutely do this. Super, super easy. So I think I made this on a Friday and Easter was on Sunday, and I'm pretty sure we finished most of this before we got to Easter Sunday. So I had to make another batch on Easter Sunday morning, but it came together so quickly that was not a problem at all. All right, my last recipe is kind of an experiment, like I said. So first I experimented with the meringue cookies, and this is a recipe from Becky Plotner's book again, and her GAPS book. But the problem is it calls for a dehydrator, and I don't have a dehydrator. So I thought maybe I'll just use my oven. So it requires egg whites and honey, and normally you would put it in the dehydrator, but I just put it in my oven, and you'll get to see in a few moments what happens. So the instructions say to butter the parchment, so I'm doing that here, and then I begin scooping this out onto the pan. But I realize it's not all gonna fit, so I'm also using this cupcake pan that I have as well. And at this point, I'm not feeling super optimistic just because of the texture. I'm not sure how the oven is gonna interact with this, but you know what? We're here. I'm gonna go for it. Let it go while I work on all these dishes. Okay, now checking in on them. And yeah, not feeling super great about it, but I figure, you know what, they probably taste pretty yummy anyways. So we're gonna take one out, see what I think. Just put some lemon curd on top. Lemon curd makes everything better. Doesn't look too bad. You know what? Not bad. I know they're not pretty. I definitely wouldn't sell these in a patisserie, however you say that. But I know my kids will think these are a treat and love them. Okay, I had another one. They must be good. But they Didn't look that pretty, so I wanted to try another option to use up the egg whites. So I tried some lemon curd pancakes where I used egg whites and lemon curd. So I mixed some lemon curd into those whipped egg whites. That's all I did, the lemon curd into the whipped egg whites. Put them on the pan, cooked it like a pancake. Did a giant one here. And these definitely look more presentable. But still, of course, wasn't lemony enough for me, so I had to add some more lemon curd on top. It's so fun to be able to make special treats for your kids that you know are also nourishing their bodies. Comment down below which of these you think you'd try first.